Hey guys, what's going on? I just want to talk about something real quick to make this a quick video. In the aftermath of last night's presidential debate, the whole big thing is about the whole children in cages thing that we all know that Obama had built, not Trump, okay? Obama had these cages built with Biden, and now Biden is trying to turn that and throw it against Trump, okay? Let me just go ahead and comment on this. See that hat? I had that when I worked for ICE, okay, here in El Paso. Southwest Border Crimes Against Children Task Force. Okay, worked in the cyber crimes group, and we covered child exploitation, child pornography, child trafficking, and anything and everything related to, exploitation of children, okay? I'm going to settle this right now, okay? I worked 5 years from 2010 to 2015 before I was medically retired, okay? All 5 years, Southwest Border Task Force Crimes Against Children, okay? So here's the deal. January 21st, 2020, Rashida Tlaib penned a letter to the acting Secretary of Homeland Security, okay? I forget his name at the time. I think it's Wolf, Secretary Wolf, okay? It was co-sponsored, surprise, surprise, by the liberal-in-chief herself, Veronica Open Borders Escobar from El Paso, and Joaquin Castro also signed, okay? So 3 Democrats, or Democrats, signed on to this, basically calling for the immediate stoppage of DNA testing of children along the southwest border, okay? The migrant children that are being smuggled, okay, by coyotes. Yes, they are coyotes. Now, the moron liberals think that literally an animal, a coyote, a 4-legged furry animal of the desert, is carrying the kids. Okay? That shows how the uneducation of America these days. Okay? Alright? So, these coyotes, what they do, they buy children from poor parents in South America, Central America. Okay? Giving them pennies to the dollar for their children because they're exploiting the poor. It's so desperate that people literally will sell their infants and their children. Okay? What they do, that coyote takes that child, brings them through the different passages up to America, okay, through Central and South America, through Mexico, up to the borders. Along the way, they make a cash cow. They rent the children to be raped, okay? They rent the children to other people that have a shot to come across first. There's a reason why in Arizona, within the last 2 years, over 600 recycled children have been found along our border. What a recycled child means, folks, and this is coming from somebody who worked for ICE, okay? Recycled children are children that come over with fake documentation, so that way the so-called parent can get across. Once that parent comes across with said child, they then take that child to a drop-off point. That child is then re-smuggled back into Mexico, re-smuggled back down to South America or Central America, sold back into another family, to another coyote, or the same coyote. The ring keeps going. It's a vicious cycle. That child then gets new paperwork, okay? Fake documentation. Brings back up, raped again, exploited again, passed along again, drop back off, and back, vicious cycle. Up to 600 children in Arizona alone, okay? And there is no border crisis, they say. Or they say Trump's doing this. This was all under the watch of the terrorist in charge who sold this country out, Barack Obama, okay? In with the Muslim Brotherhood, okay? He sold us out to Iran, okay? Why would you give billions of dollars to a terrorist-supporting nation when you're fighting the so-called war on terrorism? You're funding terrorism. You're giving our terrorists, our enemies, nuclear capabilities. This new Iran nuclear arms deal, okay? Think about it, folks. It's a vicious cycle, okay? So I just want to put that to rest. I want to put this information out there, okay? There's a saying, don't fall into the trap. Democrats are full of crap. I will post later on, right after this, I will go ahead and post the actual letter that Rashida Tlaib penned and signed with Veronica Escobar and Joaquin Castro, all Democrats or Democrats who have signed on to this letter, okay? Now, they use the justification that it violates their constitutional rights. If you're not a U.S. citizen, you don't have a constitutional right. You're not an American citizen. You're not afforded the guarantees and protections of an American citizen. That's the bottom line, okay? That's incentive to become a citizen, not to sneak across the border and hope that you get protection. You do it the right way, the legal way, okay? So, I just want to give a shout out to Claudia. How's it going? How's it going, Brian? And everyone else that's been watching. I just wanted to do this short video. Again, for those who are just tuning in, this video is real quick about the BS that Biden has been spewing and the Democrats have been spewing, that this border crisis is Donald Trump's fault. The whole children in cages goes back to the Barack Obama and Joe Biden administration. They're the ones that built the cages. They're the ones that put the children in there and separated the families. Trump, all he was doing was trying to get them back to their families and get them out of the country so they can come here legally or get them rescued from the coyotes. Again, the moron liberals or the libtards literally think that a coyote, a four-legged, furry desert animal, carried human beings across the border. Okay? A coyote is a person that delves in smuggling. They are the guides. That's what they are. Coyotes are guides. They guide the drug traffickers, or they drive the human trafficking victims up through, South and Central America, through Mexico, onto many of the various routes into America. There's an infamous thing called the rape tree. Okay, I urge you to research this on any social, or not social media, but any media that you can, Google, whatever, what have you. Okay, research the so-called rape tree. That's part of the trail. Okay. All right, just look at the horrors of it, okay? Now, open borders advocates like Veronica Escobar, okay? She is against the DNA testing because it's part of their cycle. They have to import the illegal votes to win, okay? That's why the places like New Mexico, you don't need anything to vote other than a driver's license. There's no proof of citizenship, just a driver's license. They're giving them out like candy, okay? To undocumented people, okay? So they can have fraudulent documentation to live here and work. All right. Now with this DNA testing, okay, they do this DNA testing to establish familiar ties, so that way they can separate the traffic victims from the legitimate, the trafficking victims from the coyotes, or reunite the families. Okay, that's why they do it. Now think about this: if it's so cruel and inhumane and violates their constitutional rights, why is it that if you or I as an American citizen commit a crime, our DNA is taken, it's entered into a system, we're photographed, we're stripped naked, we're strip searched, we're fingerprinted, retinal scanned, and we're entered into different databases? That's cruel and inhumane, is it not? But yet it's okay for illegals who broke the law already not to be done to go through this. The reason why this is done, folks, as I said, it's to, one, establish familiar ties. Two, it's to identify you, because genetics do not lie. Fingerprints and retinal scans do not lie. DNA swabs do not lie. Okay? Three, there's many females and even little girls, and sometimes little boys, sadly, come across, and they have traces of 3 or more DNA or semen samples on them. Okay? We all know what that means. I have my daughter in the back seat. That's why I'm not really getting into detail, okay? But I just want to put that out there, okay? And it's to identify you, okay? So if you are a repeat offender, we now know who exactly you are. No matter what fake documents you have, your DNA does not lie. That's why they do this. The Democrats want this abolished because they want it easy for you to get here. They want your vote. They want to diminish the American way of life. This new norm mentality is what they're forcing. And by new norm, they're advocating for everyone belongs here. Okay? Everyone should be here. No, it doesn't. Okay? What's going on there, Kirk? Just so you know, I'm about to I'm going to recap, and then I'm going to hop off here. But what I was talking about was the Biden lies that he was talking about, the children in cages, how it went back to the Obama-Biden administration. Rashida Tlaib, Veronica Escobar, and Joaquin Castro authored and signed a letter about the DNA testing, how it's unconstitutional, especially for the minors along the border. And I was talking about the reason why they do it. So once I post this, play it back. I need you to like, comment, and share it, guys. This needs to get out, and take it from me. Like I said, I worked for ICE 5 years, Southwest Border here in El Paso. All right? The Southwest Border Crimes Against Children Task Force. We worked against child pornography, child sexual exploitation, child and human trafficking. Okay? Trust me, I know. I also have degrees in Homeland Security. Okay? Security management, counterterrorism. I have worked counterterrorism. Okay? So DNA testing is all part of this. Why do you think that when they capture all these terrorists, why do you think they do DNA testing? Okay? To see who you are. Because it's simple logic. If I'm going to do wrong, I'm not going to tell you who I am or give you any chances to know who I really am. That's why they have fraudulent documentation. DNA does not lie. Retinal scans, okay? Retinal scans. What do you call it? Oral swabs. Fingerprints. Okay? Those are all DNA. All right? Hair sampling. Okay? That's DNA. All right? Saliva samples and all, okay? This is all DNA that they put in a database. The Democrats are saying that that's going to cause a backlog in the national database for rape and sexual assault victims, that they use the DNA for cases. That's not true. Okay, that is not true. It is a separate database. Okay? It is a separate database. Now, what happens is these children and women that come across with all these semen samples, they go into two databases. They go into the one for the generic thing that even the children are going in. Then the DNA samples that they collect go into the sexual assault with that victim's DNA. So that way, if they can do an established pattern of history. So if other DNA samples come back of that same person, they can put an MO. They can figure it out. They can, it's basic investigative work. If it's usually little girls and it's the same DNA sample from the victim, you know that person just attacks a certain victim. Okay? There's nothing malicious about it. It's legality. Think about it again, folks. If you are an American citizen, you commit a crime, you get sentenced, you go to jail, they strip you naked, that's demeaning. They cavity search you. They fingerprint you, they oral swab you, they retinal scan you. That's all DNA. But it's fine for American citizens to have this, but not illegals. What's going on, Big Rocky? What's going on there, Dave, Kurt? So, again, guys, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I'm going to post right after this, I'm going to post the actual document that was signed January 21st, authored by Rashida Tlaib, and co-sponsored by Veronica Escobar and Joaquin Castro, where they were calling for the DNA testing to be abolished. Now, here's the thing. Department of Homeland Security stated right after that, they have the legal authority to do so as a federal investigative agency. They can collect the DNA as long as they want. Just as your local county, your city, your county, your state, your township, whatever have you, police departments or law enforcement agencies can do it to you as a citizen. Okay? All right, it's not only for identification purposes, it's for community safety. Okay? You have to know who is in your country, who is in your city, especially if they committed the crime. Okay? This is not just for that purpose, but this is to establish familiar ties to get the kids rescued from the coyotes. Because a good percent, I'd say probably about 60 to 70% of these children are not with parents. Okay? They are sold. They are loaned. Again, reference the back in Arizona within the last 2 years, up to 600 children were recycled. Again, recycled children are children that are either purchased from poor families in Central and South America to coyotes, and they're just put into the traffic ring for adults. They rent them. Once they have the fraudulent documentation, they get through the checkpoints and the red tape. They get across for their asylum at a predetermined destination. They turn the children over, and they get sent right back to Mexico, Central America, or South America, put back in the system, new IDs generated, and that's the vicious cycle. A coyote is not a four-legged furry animal that these moron libtards think. It's an actual person that works for a cartel or a lone wolf, and they basically work with drug trafficking, guiding the mules, or with the human trafficking trade where they guide the product, the humans, the people, and they get paid. They usually extort the fee because what they do is they don't care. They'll take your money first, take you sometimes, and sadly we've seen where they have either the sick and the elderly, they abandon the people because they're too weak, too tired, too hungry. They leave them there because they already got the money, or they'll guide you up until the point where they're caught, and they usually hightail it out from Border Patrol once the group gets caught, and that's how it goes. It's very hard to separate the coyote because very rarely does the coyote come across anymore. Okay, because there's harsher penalties for a coyote than there is for the actual people who broke the law coming across. Okay, so these are things to remember when you go to vote. All right, the Democrats are liars. All right, they're the ones that built the cages. Now they're trying to say that because we're doing our job by separating the kids, it's unconstitutional. Well, you got to be a citizen to have constitutional rights. Think about that, okay? So stay safe. God bless, guys. Remember what I said. Don't fall into the trap. Democrats are full of crap. And remember, sic semper tyrannis, guys. And disobey all of DeMargo's and Samaniego's so-called orders. They have no authority whatsoever. This has been established. I've done videos on this. And remember, it's us versus them. Okay? They can't stop us all. All right? God bless. Stay safe. I love you.